Hey guys, let's prepare my delicious stew. This assorted stew is so yummy. And of course, I'm using this gizzard and cow skin, popularly known as more in Nigeria. And I'm using chicken. This is actually chicken laps and every part of chicken generally. As you can see, I cut it to the sizes I want it to be. And this gizzard, I cleaned it properly, very well with clean water and salt. Likewise, the chicken and the cow skin, and of course I'll be using onion. Feel free to add more proteins of your choice. This is assorted stew, of course, so you can go ahead to add as much as you can or anything you have. So after cleaning it, I pour this into the pot. This is the pot I'll be using. So first I added the cow skin because it's hard, of course, and I added the chicken, and last I added the gizzard. Onion is very important for this particular recipe, this assorted stew recipe. You need onion and other seasoning. First I added cubes. This is maggi cube, not precisely. I actually do mix it up. This is no, I added it. I just crushed it separately. This is just two I crushed, because it's hard. Then I added it, and I'm also adding chicken seasoning powder because of the chicken and the gizzard. So this is just the one I'm using. This is maggi. As you can see, this particular one, I bought it in German store. It's everywhere. You can find it around, or just use any seasoning of your choice or any seasoning powder or cube. So I just added just little quantity. As you can see, I just sprinkled it. It's already powdered, so I didn't need to crush it like I crushed the maggi cube. And now I'm adding this ginger mix. This is actually ginger and garlic powder. I mixed it together, and that is why it's looking all clustered. And I'm adding saltiness. Like I've said earlier on all my previous videos, it's not so salty like the Nigerian salt, so you really need to add more. And I'm adding this spice, just the thyme. This is dried thyme precisely. And I'm also adding curry powder and a little bit of ginger and garlic mix, like I said. And I'm also adding fresh onion for this, different flavor it gives. I already added the onion powder just a little bit while I added the ginger and garlic powder. But of course, I needed to add fresh onion, and I covered it, allowed it to cook with its own juice till, it's all properly mixed or steamed together. Then I'll be right back. After adding all my herbs and spice and mixing it with its own juice for a few minutes, I then added water. This is the stage where I had to add water, and I covered it and allowed it to cook till it's tender and soft. And this cow skin is actually hard, but the chicken and the gizzard cook faster, so I'm just going to be separating them. But first, they have to cook, and this is just how I actually do mine. After cooking the chicken, I set it aside and I placed hot oil on fire. As you can see, the chicken is well cooked, so I just had to fry it at this stage using one onion bulb. I just threw in onion bulb to the oil, and I fried it together with the chicken while I checked the gizzard and the cow skin. And as you can see, they are almost soft, but not really soft, but almost. So I just mixed everything thoroughly, properly. I tasted it. Everything was okay. It was just as I wanted it to be. And at this stage, as you can see, it's time for me to even bring out my gizzard, because my gizzard is already soft, so I can allow the cow skin cook further. So I just had to separate the gizzard aside because I also want to stir fry it for some minutes. I love my gizzard quite dry, not too soggy in my stew. So I just fried the chicken till it's golden brown, like you can see, with the onion. It added different delicious taste, aroma, everything to this chicken. And this same onion and the oil is the same pan I'm going to use to fry my gizzard. So I just poured in my gizzard and fried it till it's golden brown. Also, as you can see, at this stage, you can see the onion all over the oil. It has already fried really well with the gizzard. At this stage, the aroma and the taste in the gizzard, the onion taste, everything is just giving. I fried it till it's golden brown because I want it to really be this way. I don't want it to be too soft in my stew. You know how gizzard is now. You don't really need it to be too soft. So I went on to fry just few pieces of the cow skin, just a little bit, as you can see. Due to the fact I love my stew to be really delicious, I just love adding most of my proteins fried, and I leave some boiled or cooked. After everything, I sieved the shaft from the oil and I added my onion and stir fried for a few seconds. Next, I will be adding my tomatoes. This is actually fresh tomato blend. I left it in the fridge, and this is fresh pepper blend, and this is few spice. And I added this Delicacies tomato at this stage. This is Delicacies tomato I scooped in just few spoons, like I showed you guys at the beginning. And next, I'll be adding fresh tomatoes. So obviously I use the tin tomato and the fresh tomato, and you can also go ahead to use bell peppers if you have, but I'm not using bell peppers. I'm just using the paprika powder. Like you can see, this is also the bell pepper, the red bell pepper, but the powder form. I sprinkled more and I added just a little bit of chicken seasoning in the pot, just a few drops, as you can see, and I mixed everything really well. I love frying my tomato with it, and that paprika actually adds this beautiful color. That's why my stew is very red. And I added some spice. I love adding herbs, like natural herbs, not all those mixed chemical whatever, and I actually make most of them myself, apart from the dried thyme. I buy my dried thyme, I buy it in the market, but you see the ginger and garlic, I actually process it myself. I dry it and then blend it to powder. After adding my spice and the herbs, I added my pepper blend. This is the fresh pepper blend. This is scotch bonnet pepper Assorted, very hot. I added it and mixed it really well. At the stage I added it, as you can see, the tomato was already fried. And I went on to add the juicy water from the chicken and everything I cooked. That's the stock. I added it to the tomato and mixed it really well. And the reason I fried my gizzard to be really dry is because when I add it to the stew, like you can see, it's going to loosen up. So I just added everything together and mixed it properly. And looking at my stew, you can see everything is just so yummy. Even without tasting it, you can tell, because I fried the tomatoes till it was really, tasteless. It had no sour taste or anything. It was just okay. I just had to cut off those parts, because I don't want this video to be too long. After everything, as you can see, I allowed it to simmer for a few minutes because I just wanted everything to combine together. I wanted this stew and the pepper mix, everything to just enter the chicken and the gizzard and the cow skin very well. And this cow skin, I actually mixed it. Some of them are stir fried, right? Some of them are just boiled. Everything, some are fried, some are boiled. That's just how I want it. And I enjoyed it with basmati rice. And I served everyone that knocked on my door. As usual, I'm generous. And it was really nice and delicious. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on my next one. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, don't forget to follow. I'll see you guys as always. Bye bye.
Subscribe.